Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troll.
1973 to 1976. Welcome back, baseball fans. 1973-76 Carryover League. We are back in the postseason tournament. The last battle of first and second place teams from the American League and the American League West. Today we got a game between the California Angels and the Oakland A's. Let's see what is the scenario for this round of the tournament. Out west in the American League. First, Baltimore stayed in first, as did Detroit, and the White Sox caught the Twins. So that's the first three rounds of the American League. And we have Oakland and California. California's got home field because Oakland had it in before the All-Star break. And over here, this means that Oakland swept the Angels 4 straight. Also, the Angels are 2.5 games behind Oakland. And by math, 5 games to 2 would put them just a half game ahead, but Oakland would have the tiebreaker, even with the -3 in that they still have a +1 since they +4'd them the first time. So the Angels need to win 6 of 8 instead of 5 of 7. So we allow tiebreakers to break ties when teams are separated by half a game and such. Let's show you what's happened in this one. Game 1 opening up in Anaheim. Catfish Hunter for Oakland. Nolan Ryan. So you're going to get a good matchup. Look, it's not like the Angels aren't going to have a marquee matchup against Oakland. They are. But the rest of the series, yeah, okay. I'll just get to this. The Angels look nice early. You get single, and then guy gets cut down the plate, but 2 more singles, and it's 2-zip. Third inning, a couple more singles. Runner scores on a pass ball. It's 3-0. Oakland gets a RBI single from Rusty Torres and an RBI double from Dick Green. It is now 3-2. In the 7th inning, Claudel Washington, solo homer. It's tied at 3. And then there, unfortunately for the Angels, this is where the wheels come off the cart late in this game. In the 8th inning, Nolan Ryan, a starter 9 pitcher. We lean on him as much as we can. However, he gets leaned on. Tennis walk on Oliveira's double. Bando, 2-run double. A walk, a double by Joe Rudy. And then at that point, the white flag comes out, and we just can't leave Ryan in there anymore. As basically, including these 3 runners there, 8 of 9 men reach. That's okay. They go to Don Kirkwood. He brings a can of kerosene in, gives up a triple. 9th inning, Sal Bando home run. And suddenly it's 10-3 Oakland is your final. Started promising for the Angels, but yeah. So what would happen in Game 2 in Anaheim? Surely they can get 1 win at home. Nope. Ken Holtzman versus Frank Tanana, battle of lefties. Holtzman's not particularly sharp. And again, the Angels start nice. Couple singles, sac fly Don Baylor, 5th inning. Single double, RBI single Mickey Rivers, sac fly Bobby Valentine, RBI double Don Baylor. My goodness, it's 4-zip. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. This is Oakland, and it's the Angels. It's not going to work. 8th inning, Bando walks. Double play ground ball to Paul Shaw, except he kicks it for an error. Instead of a double play, that means Joe Ruiz going to follow that up with a 3-run homer. Make it 4-3, and in the 8th inning, Tanana hits the point of weakness. John Montague brings in another can of KRC, and they seem to keep it out there. Kirkwood used it yesterday, Montague today. 7 runs in these 2 innings. They had a 10 runs late in game 1, and it's the same kind of thing. The only thing different is that Raleigh Fingers came on in the 9th. To get the save, Oakland goes to Anaheim and beats the Angels for the 5th and 6th consecutive time. Oh boy. Let's take a look at the standings before we start this game. Out in the West, the Oakland A's started this year terribly. They lost 3 out of 4 to the Tigers. They lost 3 out of 4 to Baltimore. They got swept 2 straight by the Giants in Interleague. They started 2-8. Then they've been playing their division ever since. Then have gone 14-4 against the Angels, Mariners, and Rangers. Now the Mariners have an excuse. The Mariners actually played them pretty well, 4-2. Rangers, 4-1. But the Angels are a special case, folks. The Angels are 0-6, and in theory, supposed to be the best competition for Oakland here. And all I gotta say, folks, to the California Angels is, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to me, California? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you trying to mess up my whole carryover league? The rest of the American League is up for grabs, and all the teams are excited about the American League, except your division rival, in air quotes, can't beat you a single time, and is allowing Oakland to get right back where they were a year ago, and they won the World Series. So, can the Angels win a baseball game against Oakland? They have to win 6 of them. If they win 6 of them, they will close that gap. And again, we can look at this to show you. They're 4.5 games back. So every time they win a game, they pick up a game. So they win the first 4, they're half game back. They win the 5th game, they're half game up, but Oakland still has the tiebreaker. So they have to play the next game, and then Angels would be a game and a half up. That's how that math works. Okay. Let's get started from Oakland now. To make matters worse, can the A's win a game at home to end this thing and allow me to do other things today? This is really intruding on my schedule, this notion that the Angels are going to compete. Yeah, right. So, for the Angels, Andy Hassler will take the hill. In 74, he won 7 games with a .261 ERA in 162 innings. And the Oakland A's will send Mike Torres. They went out in the offseason, traded for him. And in 76 for Oakland, he was 16-12 with a .250 ERA and 266 innings. Wasn't during the time of the dynasty, but still an outstanding pitcher, and that's a 4-year contract for this guy. So they're set up pretty well for the future with Hunter, Holtzman, and Torres. Eventually, I guess Catfish Hunter gets to the Yankees, but I'm not sure how soon that's going to happen. So let's get started from Oakland. Leading off for California, it's Paul Shaw, the third baseman. 2/8's a single. Mickey Rivers, 67 is a pop out. Don Baylor, 1-3, flies to right. And with 2 outs, Richie Scheinblum, 210, flies to center field. Bottom of 2, it's Gene Tennis. 58, flies to left. Darren Johnson, 54, center X. Mickey Rivers, a 3-9 in center field, makes the catch. And Sal Bando, 210, single on a 6, can't get it. Top of 2, it's Bob Oliver, 59, rolls a second. Bobby Valentine, 110, rolls a short. Jim Spencer, 55, off Torres, triple 1-3, it's a base hit. And George Mitterwald, 53, rolls first. All right, bottom of the second, it's Reggie, 54, off Hassler, flies to left. Joe Rudy, 44, homer 1-11 off the Hassler card, that's a 2-base hit. Claudel Washington, 1-4, flies to right. And with 2 outs, Bert Campaneris. 2-5, this guy's been hot. Let's take a look at the Bert Campaneris card. Game 1 against a righty. He rolled 2-5, triple, won a 13 double. Got a triple and a double in that game. Has a similar chance today against a lefty in Hassler. Great year. Of the Dynasty years, this would be the best Campaneris card. Of all the Campaneris cards, 1970 is still the landmark there. That's the 22 homer one. 22 homers for Campaneris in 70. You can look it up. But 2-5, triple, 1 to 10. It's a 2-base hit. That will score a run. 1-0. Batting 8th, Phil Garner getting a start today against a left-handed pitcher. 44, same role. He does have power. Homer 1 to 11, misses it, and it's a double. So back-to-back doubles off the Hassler card. Now it's Duffy Dyer. 46, single 1 to 18 off Hassler, gets it. Run won't score. They're on the corners. They go back up top to Gene Tennis. 49's a walk. They're just denting Hassler's 4 column now. And you got dangerous Darren Johnson. Oh, by the way, Darren Johnson, he played for the Angels last year. And let's take a look at this card, by the way. Darren Johnson, seems like every time I get an Oakland game, I got to show you the card here. 73, he was in Oakland A. Had 500 plate appearances, 19 homers at first base with a 246 average. They had so many guys rotating in and out of first base. They had the Mike Hegan. They had Mike Epstein. They had Gonzalo Marquez, I believe. Gene Tennis could play some first base, but Darren Johnson played all year in 73 at first base. So the trick is the Angels had him, this card, on the roster, and unfortunately they realized that they needed another catcher, a backup catcher, a platoon catcher, and Darren Johnson can't catch. And they're like, well, Darren, are you going to catch? And they're like, no, I'm not a catcher. I'm a first baseman. And it's like, well, then bye. See ya. And so they cut Darren Johnson and went out and signed, I believe, Ed Kirkpatrick, who's on the bench today. So they have Kirkpatrick and Meterwald. So the Oakland A's swooped in and said, oh, you're on waivers? You're on the street? Why don't you come back to Oakland? And that's exactly what he's doing with all that. Now I got the story in with both teams involved in this territorial dispute. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Here's your pitch to Darren Johnson. 2-4, right on cue. Stick it in your blah. And he's rounding the bases. Oh, it's going to take forever. He's doing the moonwalk around the bases. And oh, look at that. He's impersonating a catcher's mitt. It's like, are you kidding me? Grand slam off the Darren Johnson card, and this is sickening if you're the rest of the American League. If you're Baltimore, you're a little sickened by this. If you're Detroit, if you're the White Sox, the Twins, the Expos, all the other teams in the American League that want to get to the World Series in a year that Oakland was fading hard, well, guess what? They ain't fading hard anymore. It's 6-0. Sal Bando. 49, another walk for Hassler, and is this the, what are we doing here? What do I do? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can just be nice, charitable. Let me just be charitable and leave Hassler in there and assume he's not hit a point of weakness by batting around against him. Normally if you bat around against a pitcher, I call you point of weakness and or hook you. But I'm going to leave him in there because it's theoretically only the 3rd game of a potential 8-game series, which of course seems ridiculous to say. So we'll leave him in there to face Reggie. 410, center X. And this is Mickey Rivers, a 3-9 in center field. That's a 2-base error. There you go. 2nd and 3rd for Joe Rudy. 59 is a roller to 2nd, and that's the end of the 2nd inning. 6-0 A's. We go to the 3rd, Jerry Remy. 47 is a K. Back up top to Paul Shaw. 1-9. It's a short, roller to short. Mickey Rivers, 68. Lines are short. Oakland has some tee times. They have stuff they want to do because they're going to have a lot of time off. they're going to have the next 5 games of this series. Well, they're going to be off. So they're going to like what do you do in Oakland? You go golfing or something? I don't know. They're going to do something. Claudell Washington. 210, rolls a second. And folks, if you're wondering, look, this happens in sports all the time. You get a great franchise and they're in a pathetic division. And then you end up with another division that has like the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates in it. Teams that have won the last 2 World Series. They can't even win the division. One of them's got to be a wild card, if they can even do that. So you have this in sports, Oakland, and whatever is left in the West. Bergkamp and Harris, 54, center X. Your center fielder is, what's his name? Yeah, he caught this one. 2 outs. It's Phil Garner, 2-6. Grounds are short. You know, back in the day, Billy Martin's Texas Rangers and the White Sox with Dick Allen probably would have been the stiffest competition in the old American League West with Oakland. But they've been realigned. We've realigned at least the White Sox, and it's probably beneficial for the White Sox to be in their own division so that they can have a clear path to winning it versus having to face these monsters. It's just, yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't get it. I don't get how California can be so lame. Don Baylor. 57 is okay. Yeah, I'm pouting. Am I pouting? I'm pouting. I am. I'm sorry. I'm pouting. Double 1 to 5, Shine Bloom single. Bob Oliver 2-6, 5-4-3 double play. And the beginning. You know, and we've had teams come back from 6-0. I think the Twins came back 9-0 to beat the Yankees. I think the Pirates came back 0-3 against the St. Louis Cardinals and won the series 4-3. It's not like the Angels can't come back. It's just that, well, the Angels can't come back because they're the Angels. It ain't going to happen. So, yeah, that's what the pouting comes from. Duffy Dyer, K's. Gene Tennis, 45, double 1, base hit. Darren Johnson, this time it's a 5-4-3 double play, and with 2 outs. Well, that's the inning, sorry. We'll get a Hassler out after 4. Now, on the positive side of California, I actually had, as I go to the 5th, and I'll just keep playing this while talking, 2-7 single. Jim Spencer, 64, third X, Bando, 2 double play, 2E22, error, okay, doors open. See what materializes here, Mitterwald, 1-7, walks, bases loaded, here we go. I have to bring it up for Jerry Remy. 56, oh my goodness, Angels, double 1 to 2, this is a 2-run single, what's going on? Is this a rally? Is this actually a California rally down 6? Runners of the corners for Paul Shaw. They have to hold Remy. 56 off Torres, a base at the center field. Do you run Remy to third down like 6 runs or 3 runs, whatever it is? He's a 17. Claudius got a 0 arm. They're going to run him anyway because it should be a slam dunk, and he's safe. So he runs when he probably shouldn't, but he ran because he's fast. So it's now 6-3. And we got runners in the corners, and Mickey Rivers is your tie run. My train of thought is completely now misplaced. Mickey Rivers, 53. Infield up, that's a 1-2 force out at the plate. First and second, still just 1 out. Or now just 1 out. Don Baylor, 38 lines a second. And with 2 outs at first and second, it's Richie Scheinblum. 66, single 1 to 10, and can't get it, rolls a 17. Promising start, and they cut the lead in half. Well, maybe that was because what I was going to mention before that rally was I really dug the Angels in the late 70s. Sal Bando leads off, 47's a walk. As the 79 to 82 Angels were awesome for me. What a great team that was. Reggie, we got a new pitcher here. Let's just start over there. Let's get rid of that. Let's just get this inning going again. Ken Wright will come in the 5th inning for California. Ken Wright, 6-5, 491 ERA in 81 innings. Comes in. Sal Bando. 57 is a K. Reggie, 410, short X. 4031 is Valentine. He makes the play. And Joe Rudy. 611 is a K. So you had the 79 Angels with Baylor was the MVP. Brian Downing was awesome. Bobby Grish hit like 30 home runs, okay? They had Frosty the Snowman, Dave Frost, Nolan Ryan's last year. And then after that, they get to Fred Lynn, and they get to Rod Carew, and they get to Reggie Jackson. Oh, I forgot. They get Doug DeCinces, who had monster years for me using his 1982 card. That version of the Angels was a ton of fun. That Angel team went to 3 straight league championship series in the Fall League. Not in the Summer League, because we're not chronologically there yet. But in the Fall League, if you've been following the Fall League station, you'll know how great the Angels have been for me there. So there is the silver lining, and it just goes to show I'm not a hater. I don't hate the Angels. I just hate this era of lack of competition. But look, they just scored 3 runs. Top of the 6th. It'll be Bob Oliver. 67 lines are short. Bobby Valentine, 64. Catcher's X. Today's catcher, Duffy Dyer, 3-5. Thanks to play. Jim Spencer. 37's a base hit. Meterwald, George Meterwald, 6'10", short X. Campaneris, 2E27, makes the play. Forgot to do the 5th inning, bottom half. Let's do it now. Bottom of the 6th inning. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
All right, the Angels are in this one. Normally, the Angels have been ahead. And it is the A's who have just get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 runs late in the game and just, blow them out. Today, it's the foot's on and the shoe are in different spots, or however that expression goes. So, bottom of the 6th, it'll be Claudel Washington. 34 pops out. Bert Campaneris. 2-5. 2-5? That's the 4th one in 2 games. My goodness. Triple 1 of 13. Another triple for Bert Campaneris. He's got 2 triples and 2 doubles. They're going to bring the infield up for Phil Garner. 42, first X, but it's a good first baseman, dare I say. It's Jim Spencer, a 1E3 at first, so you're not going to get a run unless it's an error, and you don't get it. And with 2 outs, it's Duffy Dyer. 57 is a strikeout. Ken Wright comes out of the Angel bullpen, gives him 2 decent innings. 6-3 game in the 7th. Torres will continue. Everybody's up. Locker, all these guys are available. Plenty of underused Oakland bullpen. Locker, Todd, Tomlin, Fingers, outstanding bullpen for this team. That's one of the things about Oakland that they kept from the World Series year ago. They had a great bullpen a year ago, and it might even be better this year, as they actually got a better left-hander than Dave Tomlin. So, top of the 7th, it's Jerry Remy. 55, triple 1 of 3 off the Torres cards, a base hit. Now, are we really going to let this bullpen just wait? Or are we going to put them into action here? Righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty. They alternate righties and lefties. I'll get Torres one more batter. Then that'll be it. Paul Shaw. 2-7, base hit. That's enough. Enough, Torres. You're screwing with the narrative. Mike Torres leaves after 6 and 2 batters. About to hit the point of weakness. Moreover, we don't want to put him on the hook for a loss. You got Rivers, Baylor, Scheinblum. We're going to go Bob Locker here in the 7th inning. Locker was, his best year with Oakland was 71. 72, he wasn't as good, but he got a World Series ring. And 73 with this card, he's actually a Cub. 10-6 for the Cubs with a 2.55 ERA in 106 innings. But the Oakland decided to hold on to him, and smart move. Bob Locker here in the 7th, first and second with no one out. And it'll be Mickey Rivers. 49 off Locker is a K. Don Baylor. 44 off Bob Locker. This is the hit. Homer 1-17. It's gone, folks. You're witnessing it. You know, it's great. I'm glad you guys are tuned in. Oh, California's made a game out of this. Normally, things like this happen in the games I played before and after YouTube. But finally, maybe you guys are bringing this team good luck. 6-run comeback. We're all tied up. Richie Shinebloom, 53. Left X. This is Rudy, a 1E5 and left. And with 2 outs, it's Blob Oliver. 2-9 is a roller to third. Now, it's a tie game. And Ken Wright's pitched 2 innings. He's a relief 3. We'll let him keep going. He's got a hot hand. We'll let him keep going in the bottom of the 7th. Stretch time here in Oakland on what has stunningly become a tie game after this long obituary I wrote for the California Angels. So much for that. We are enjoying this wonderful Interfusion LP by Shuggy Otis. He's playing with in a trio, power trio, with Carmine Apiece and Tony Franklin. This was done back in 2018. They do a couple of the they do Ice Cold Daydream, and I thought they did Inspiration Information. I guess they don't. Just that one from Shuggy's lineup back in the day. The great, wonderful guitarist, Johnny Otis's kid, Shuggy Otis. Back to the game, bottom of the 7th inning, top of the Oakland lineup. It'll be Gene Tennis. 58 is a strikeout. Darren Johnson. 67's a walk. And now with Reggie coming up soon, we might get to LaRoche sooner than we think. Sal Bando. 2-8 is a 6-4-3 double play because you're not holding the E, stealing Darren Johnson. Wow. So we can push. Yeah, that's a great. We can hold LaRoche off a little bit longer. All right, a 6-6 game in the 8th inning. It'll be Bobby Valentine. 1-7 rolls a short. Jim Spencer, 48, is a walk. George Mitterwald, 67 is a K with 2 outs. It's Jerry Gin Remy. 67 is a strikeout. So that time, the Angels alternate 3-run innings. 3-0, 3-0. 6-6, bottom of the 8th. Now, Ken Wright is actually a starting pitcher. He's a starter 6, relief 3. So there's no qualms about how long this guy can go. It's about effectiveness. You do have the 2 lefties coming up this inning, Reggie and Claudel. You do have Dave LaRoche, of course, the best pitcher in the bullpen. However, I guess you can't win 6 games until you win 1 game. But, yeah, I mean, at what point do you go to LaRoche in this thing? Do you wait till you get a lead? Do you wait till the series is over? Do you go to him now for 2 or 3 innings? Let's just go to him now just for competitive reasons. We're going to go Dave LaRoche now. So Dave LaRoche, in air quotes, we'll call him the best pitcher not named Nolan Ryan on this team. In 76, he was a Cleveland Indian. He had a 2.25 ERA in 96 innings. He had stints with, I believe, the Twins, the Angels, the Indians, the Angels again. Of course, the Lalab of when he was a Yankee. He used to lalab, was it Gorman Thomas? He lalabbed Willie Wilson, I think. They're on YouTube somewhere. But Dave LaRoche will come on in, and we'll just leave him in there until this game's over. How about that? How do you like them apples? So 3 outstanding innings for Ken Wright, who had a 4.91 ERA. And so now we're going to go to LaRoche here. And I guess he'll probably face Reggie twice. He'll face him here and then in the 9th and 10th innings if it goes that far. How about that? So leading off in the bottom of the 8th, it's Reggie. 4-7 is a walk. Now Reggie can run. He's an ace stealer. Mitterwald's got a +1 arm. He's taking off. He steals on a 9. Reggie, he's like, I ain't losing this game. Are you nuts? Now here's a crazy town moment. Let's take a look at Joe Rudy's card. Mr. Teammate, Mr. Great Teammate, Joe Rudy, 22 homers, 293 average, great range, not the greatest arm. But what was always fascinating is that he was an A bunter. You know, middle of the lineup dudes aren't normally A bunters. But that just goes to show how unselfish he is. To, you know. So do we actually bunt the Joe Rudy here to get Reggie at third to set up Raleigh Fingers in the ninth with a one-run lead, possibly. I think we do it just to prove that Joe Rudy's an A-bunter, so he's going to bunt. It's a good bunt. On a 6. So Reggie's at third. The Angels have to bring the infield up. And it's Claudell Washington. 2 7s a K. And with 2 outs, it's Burt Campaneris. He could use one of those 2 5s right around now. 65 is short X. And oh boy, we have a lousy shortstop. Bobby Valentine's a 40-31 at short. Can he make a play? He can! Bobby Valentine makes a play at shortstop. And so the bunt does not lead to a run. We're still stuck at 6 to the frustrated Oakland A's. 9th inning here. I think we're going to go pull Locker after 2. We're going to go Dave Tomlin in the 9th. This is the new player they brought in the offseason. They moved Dave Hamilton, last year's lefty setup guy, to the rotation. And Dave Tomlin's a pure reliever. Had some nice years with the Reds. This is a good year with the Padres in 76 with a 2.84 ERA in 73 innings. He will come on in the 9th. Face the top of the order. And it'll be Paul Shaw. 3-6 for Paul Shaw. Let's take a look at him. So in 73, he was a 288 hitter for the Kansas City Royals, and his only position was third base. Whoops. There'd be some guy coming up from the farm system that would get him out of the town, end his career. That fella, of course, is George Brett. So Paul Shaw pretty much disappears after this brilliant 1973 card. 288 average and 63 walks. Always an on-base machine. 3-6, homer 1-3, double the rest. And when we look up, he catches the 3-dinger off of Tomlin. It's 7-6 Anglos. Holy smokes, folks. The Angels have a lead. The Angels have a lead. The Angels have a lead. Well, they had leads in games 1 and 2 also. So that's not quite good enough. It's not like they haven't led before. They just don't know how to win. But they're 3 outs away from potentially doing that. And here's Mickey Rivers. 45, flies are right. Don Baylor. 5'10 is the catcher's X. Duffy Dyer's a 3E5. Makes the play. And, see, batting for Richie Scheinblum doesn't hit lefties very well. Probably a good defensive player. There aren't any. There just isn't. I don't know what we're doing here. Yeah, Winston Lennis. A little pinch hit here. We don't need to see his card. Trust me. 1-8, double 1-6. Catches a double, though. Caught a double. We'll miss the card. And now Bob Oliver with runner at second and 2 outs. 1-5 is a walk. And now you got Bobby Valentine with 2-1 and 2 outs. My goodness. Do we actually... Yeah, we're going to get this guy out of here. This is a very winnable comeback for Oaktown. So we're going to go Jim Todd. Suddenly, second and third and 2 outs. They're already up a run. They've scored the last 7 runs of this game unanswered. So Jim Todd will come on in the 9th, trying to end this rally and face. Let's take a Todd's card. Another 76 card. He and Torres. 75, excuse me. 75 Todd. 8-game winner, 229 ERA, 122 innings. This would be the best pitching card for the Oakland pitching staff of 75. So, and they have Torres, one of the best pitching cards of the Oakland staff in 76. So it shows that they're looking ahead into the future in the era when Charlie Finley starts to dismantle the team and at least getting some of the shining players in place to potentially extend their playoff chances. So Jim Todd will face Bobby Valentine with runners at second and third and 2 outs. Here's the pitch. 111 is a pop to second base, and that will end the threat. They will bring in Rudy Mioli to play short with some defense. And they'll put Ed Kirkpatrick in the corner outfield spot where Scheinblum was as a 3 defender instead of a 4 defender. That's the best California can do for defense. And LaRoche is the dude. Only problem with LaRoche is relief 2. So 3 Oakland batters will make him at the point of weakness. So can the Angels pull this thing off and extend this series? Bottom of the 9th, Dave LaRoche, 3 outs away from a road win for the Angels. Leading off is Phil Garner. 1-8 is a fly ball to center field. Number 9 hitter Duffy Dyer. 37 is a fly ball to left, and with 2 outs, it comes down to Gene Tennis. Let's take a look at him. So this is the best of the Dynasty era tennis cards. I would say the 70 tennis card hit 300. That's probably the best Oakland card. But that's when he was, I think, a rookie, and he only had like 100 at-bats. But this tennis would give you 24 homers, 101 walks at 258. Played some first base. Played second base, too, because they had lots of injuries to their second baseman. Gene Tennis, can you extend this game? Or do you let California creep back in to the division race? Here's the pitch to Gene Tennis. 47 off LaRoche is a walk. Shocker. Tennis walks. He's an 11 runner. Do you have any speed on the bench? Well, Rusty Torres. It's a 14, but no, I don't think he's going to score from first on a double. Which sets up Darren Johnson, who had the grand slam earlier against a lefty Hassler. And LaRoche, he's got to deal with him. You know, LaRoche, you can't really walk the lead run and push the tie run in the scoring position. So Dave LaRoche, he's got to deal with Darren Johnson here, with Tennis at first and 2 outs in the 9th. Here's the pitch to Darren Johnson. 63 is Pitcher X. Can you field? No. No. And speaking of fielding, oh my God. Somebody, please, Greg Maddox, can you go to Anaheim and teach the entire bullpen are E38s and an E36. 38, 38, 38, 36. What is going on, California? E38 pitcher here. It's a single, actually, instead of the error. Well, that's different. So 2 are on now, and that brings up Sal Bando. Now you might want to think about pinch running for Tennis. Score from the single. Rusty Torres with Duffy Dyer finishing the game catching. That sounds like a good plan. Yeah, Rusty Torres is going to pinch run for Gene Tennis. That's a 14 runner at second base. And be a center fielder for Claudel Washington. Darren Johnson, the winning run at first base. We'll leave him alone. We'll leave him alone. I don't want to take him out. He's been too important at this point. So it's Sal Bando with runners at first and second and 2 outs. If we look at Bando's card, let's look at that. Again, in the Dynasty era, this is the best Bando card you're going to find. 1973, 29 homers, a 286 average. The 1969 Bando card is also very good. Again, the Oakland A's from 69 to 71 were probably better than they were from the Dynasty years, 72 to 74. Problem was Baltimore. Couldn't get past Baltimore, couldn't get past the Twins, really. But by the time 72 came, Baltimore was much weaker and the A's dynasty began, even though they were only winning 90-some games. All that to get to Sal Bando with runners at first and second and 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. Here's your pitch to Sal Bando. 311 is a fly ball to right field, and that'll do it. The California Angels won a baseball game. They are celebrating. Oakland's like, what are you talking about, dude? You got to beat us 6 times in a row. Well, that's, yeah, of course. But they won. They beat you. And they beat you on YouTube. So there's that. We have a Ken Wright. No, not Ken Wright. Dave LaRoche gets the win in relief. And the loss will go to Dave Tomlin, who surrendered the home run. 7-6 win for your California Angels. Where was I? Right here when I said it ain't going to happen. You heard me say it. I know I said it. It ain't going to happen. I talked about the Twins came back down 9 to beat the Yankees. The Pirates were down 0-3 and ripped off 4 straight win against the Cardinals. This is another one of the most impressive comebacks we've seen this year, down 6-zip, with mud being slung on them. And the Angels have the last laugh today, folks. They win 7-6. So with that, we'll pause, and then we'll pick up the series in games 4 through potentially 8, if there is such a thing. Game 4 in Oakland will be Dave Hamilton against Gary Ross. So, and beyond that, it could be, we can restructure the pitching matchups. So we'll have the box score for this game, and then the results of Game 4 and whatever happens after that. So stay tuned. All right, folks, here's the box score. Game 3, you just saw the stunning California comeback, a 7-6 victory. The win was picked up by LaRoche after actually 3 good innings of relief. First by Ken Wright. He just gave up a hit, a walk, and 4 Ks. Best outing that I can remember for him. LaRoche in 2 innings just gave up a hit, and a couple walks, and a strikeout. And the A's bullpen is suddenly looking a little bit more porous. They gave up a run. Locker gave up that tying home run. And then Tomlin gives up another home run in the 9th. Spoiling the day for Mike Torres and company. And the A's blow Game 3, 7-6. So what happened? Does California have a bigger backbone than we thought? Can they keep this thing going? Well, the answer is yeah. Game 4. Gary Ross versus Dave Hamilton. And this is a problem for Oakland. Oh, we're seeing it, folks. We're seeing the roster composition. It's just not as good as it was a year ago. Dave Hamilton would be better off in the bullpen. He hasn't made it to the 5th inning yet this year. Knocked out in the 4th inning. 4 innings, 4 hits, 5 walks, 3 runs scored. It's a 3-1 game. And then we have an RBI ground out by Bando. It's 3-1. Sac fly Dick Green. It's 4-2. The A's tie the game in the 7th. And this thing goes extras. But in the 10th extra inning, Raleigh Fingers blows up. Hard to believe it. Raleigh Fingers in the 10th inning. Inherited runner at second base. You get a 2-run homer by Bob Oliver. And they're not even done yet. They get a single by Scheinblum, a single by Remy, a walk, and a sac fly by Rivers. So they get 3 runs in the top of the inning, and then it is Don Kirkwood, because they gave LaRoche the day off after 2 innings yesterday, but it's okay. He actually gets the save in the bottom of the 10th. Gary Ross started 6 2/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 are earned. Again, and the Oakland bullpen is starting to show like maybe this team is really what, maybe they are bad because, or not bad, maybe they're not as good because they're simply not as good. We'll look at more at that a little bit later. Angels get a second road win in Oakland to the slight disappointment and embarrassment by Oakland there. 7-4 is the final. So what happens to Game 5? It's a rematch between Nolan Ryan and Catfish Hunter. At which point I'm starting to think that, does Nolan Ryan have a little shoeless Joe Jackson in him? Does he have some money down on the Oakland A's to repeat and win the World Series? Because he certainly pitched like it. Oakland gets 3 runs off of Ryan in the 3rd. They send 8 guys to the plate. They get 3 more in the 4th. Put 7 guys in there. 4 more in the 5th. We get him out of there after 4 2/3. This is the line. Nolan Ryan, 4 2/3, 11 hits, 10 runs, 8 walks, 9 strikeouts. Remember, Oakland scored 10 runs off him in Game 1. Another easy day for Catfish Hunter. In a head-scratching moment, all that wonderful California momentum in 3 and 4, suddenly it goes away in a predictable result. Oakland wins 12-3. Catfish Hunter went 7 innings, giving up 6 hits and a run. Bob Locker gave up 2 more runs in relief. Another troubling sign. We'll have to look at the stats a little deeper. So what's it all mean, folks? Oakland won the series 3-2, so they actually won a series, yet another one even, and had more wins than the Angels in it. So they increased their lead to 3.5 over everybody. Now the Mariners and Rangers still have to play, but it looks like Oakland's going to win this division. And it also means that we have the present first place teams in the American League set to play each other in a friendly seeding purpose series of 5. And it's going to be an interesting matchup. Baltimore and Detroit will face off. The divisions that did not play before the All-Star break will play in this second round of the postseason tournament, which is the Easts and North and the Midwests and Wests. So Baltimore +7 against Detroit +7 at a best of 5. And how about this juicy nugget? You get the White Sox and the A's. Now, it's not the playoffs, it's the postseason tournament, but they may meet again. White Sox 4 over 500, A's 3 over 500. It's still a best of 5. As whoever wins the series is the tiebreaker in this case. And again, nobody gets eliminated. Could the A's knock the White Sox out of first? Yeah, it's possible, as the Twins will play a third-place team over here. So it could. The White Sox want to win that series, basically because they've lost Oakland in the playoffs the last few years. So you know the White Sox really want to beat Oakland to hold on to first. And the other side of the American League East here, Baltimore's uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, again, they're friendlies. It's just for seeding purpose. Now the first place teams. Now that we've established a first place team, now you want to see who's going for a bye. Right now, Baltimore and Detroit are favorites for a bye, but they play each other. So if you get some sweepage, the loser could lose the bye, and the Chi Sox or A's could pick a bye up. So there's a lot still to play for in this postseason tournament, playoffs, blah, 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 yada, yada. Okay. Let's look at some stats now of the Angels and Oakland. See what is the story here. The Angels are now 13-17. Nolan Ryan's 4-4. He's given up 37 runs and 74 innings. That's a 4.50 ERA. He's walked 40, given up 70 hits. That's a lot of hits. Normally he doesn't give up that many. And Frank Santa's having a tough year as well. Dave LaRoche has 5 saves. Hasn't given up an earned run. He's 14 1/3 with an ERA of 0, 4 unearned runs. Power department, Don Baylor was the All-Star. 7 homer and 22 RBI to pace the team. As the lone All-Star representative, they hit 273, 382, or hitting 273 or 382. Yeah. But Oakland, this is more interesting here. Look at this bullpen first, because I'm intrigued. Bob Locker, 6 runs of 15 innings. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Jim Todd's been great, 3-14. Dave Tomlin, the new lefty reliever, has been pretty bad, 8 runs and 13 innings. And Fingers did lose a game, but he has 8 saves. Catfish Hunter got off to a terrible start, and since then he has righted the ship. He's 7-4. Wow. With a card that's not as good as the 72 card. Can Holzman, Mike Torres are holding their own. Your number 4 starter is Dave Hamilton. He's only thrown 16 innings this year. Again, Hunter's thrown 81, Holtzman 62, Torres 56, and your number 4 starter, Dave Hamilton, has thrown 16 innings this year because he gets knocked out for the 5th inning. 24 hits allowed, 13 runs. That's not good. The best Oakland hitter is the all-star Sal Bando, leading the club in homers with 8, RBIs at 26. Claude Washington leads the club in hits with 38 and 125 at-bats. What's Reggie doing? He was struggling for the break. He's 27 for 112. 3 home runs, 9 RBI. Wow, that's not going to get the job done. He has got to start getting going here if Oakland has a chance in this thing. But that's it. We do have to say, break up the Oakland A's. They did win the series, and they managed to not suffer the embarrassment of losing more games than they won. They win the series 3-2. Thanks for checking this out, and we'll see you next time.